Ladies and gentlemen, you can tell I'm ready for the foxtrot. How can you tell? I have a scarf on. Every dance teacher with a scarf. Serious business, y'all. Welcome, Vaughan here from Ballroom Mastery. It is awesome to finally be here with the Slow Foxtrot for your beginners. Now remember, this is an introductory class to the Slow Foxtrot. So when you're going to be following me through this step by step, we're only going to focus on straight forward and backward movements today in the feather step and the three step. Now, here are some interesting things for you all to know about the foxtrot. Well, three standout differences that I think make all the difference for those who have never danced this before. Number one, if I was to ask you, what type of movement is the slow foxtrot, or what is its character, what would you say? So the foxtrot is a continuous linear dance. So our feet are passing, we're moving backward and forward. The lady is doing heel turns to create our turns around the room. We have weaving actions, and of course we have rotational figures in there that are very strong, like double reverse spins. But for the basic movements of foxtrot, we just want to consider the execution of amazing, and I mean amazing, forward and backward walks. The second thing is having the feet pass properly under our body. And they do that more than closing. So for those who have danced with me in, say, the Masterclass or any of my online programs, you'll notice in the waltz that, you know, our feet are drawing together and closing, we lower our weight, and then we move off and lower into the next dance. And we have more rise and fall in that dance. Now, if you don't know what that term means, again, this is for the beginners. So that's a term you'll get used to, of correctly using your footwork, your ankle and your knee to create, and of course your body, to create rising movements and then lowering, falling movements, which gives it that lovely ebb and grace. Now, the way I think about foxtrot is to look at it like an ocean, but a calm ocean with a little bit of swell. It's got that nice ebb and flow to it, right? When you look at the waltz is like the Andes, you know, or not the Andes, but you know, like the peaks and troughs of I would say the Swiss Alps, right? But not that true. The difference is extra rise though. Now, the third part of this is something called linear sway, fancy term. So swaying in ballroom dancing, like in the waltz, for example, creates balance. So at a fundamental level, sway happens naturally when you do the correct footwork and you use your body correctly. Sway becomes a natural consequence. A way to think of this is if you're riding a bike very fast, when you go around a corner fast, your body will sway into that turn. Okay, when a plane takes off at speed and then goes to turn, it doesn't just go, oh, I'm going to go right. It sways into the turn. Now that's what we do within ballroom dancing to balance certain steps, and there's different types of sway, but fundamentally we use it for balance. Now in foxtrot, our sway is produced differently than it is in the waltz. And that's not something you necessarily need to focus on, but it will happen as a consequence of good footwork. Now, as always, I want to make sure that you understand what you're doing up here. You are here to understand the steps, the counts, and then to practice that. That's it. That's what we want to do today. With this, it's very, very important that you maintain a good frame. So if I'm standing here, my arms are out, I don't want your arms to dip. So this has to be something you practice as a habit. When you put your arms in position by yourself as the man, right, or as the lady, and you create that curve, your elbows need to be horizontal to the floor the whole time. Now, of course, when you create, say, a sway that's linear, you will have an angle through your arms. That's going to be normal. I don't anticipate that for anyone who's a beginner. So what I get you to do, and by the way, this is why I have my fantastic teaching scarf. Right. You can just hold a scarf or a belt of some sort. Holy Lord, I'm catching myself. Okay, in this sort of position, right? So at least doing this can allow you, when we start to do the steps, understand where the frame or the balance line in your elbow should be. So it's an easy tool to have when you're practicing by yourself, just so, again, your arms are staying in the right line, and that is absolutely a non-negotiable. You can't like sag your arms and have one up and down. It's not going to work. So with this whole linear thing, what really we should think about is the body's going to be turning more strongly or rotating stronger than, say, the waltz. All right, so our feet are passing rather than closing more, and our body is going to be turning more, okay, in that sense, creating what we call side leads. So let me explain a couple of very basic ideas. Basic, I mean, holy Lord, clicking back and forward. By basic, I don't mean they're simple. I just mean that the ideas you need to understand. So when we move forward and backward, literally just take a step in a straight line, straight forward. So let's get going with the foot cam. What's up? Right. So straight line. Okay. If we move forward and back, so just try this with me, feet closed. Right. Push the heel through the floor in a straight line. Now notice if your foot comes over in one track, this is not correct unless we are doing something called CBMP. All right. So that's a worse name in ballroom dancing terminology, by the way. Like, could they come up with a more convoluted thing? So fundamentally, your feet are going from two tracks of movement to one. All right. So essentially, moving forward is on the heel, moving backwards is going to be with the toe. Now you can see greater detail in that in a video I have on my channel about forward and backward walks. So I'm not going to go into that today. That's our forward and backward movements. The next thing we need to know is if you look at my body and my feet, we have something called a side lead. So side lead is when this, you can think of it two ways. The foot that's moving forward, that side will go with it. Or in other words, the foot that remains behind, the body stays with that. So either way, you'll see my body, if I go with my back to the camera, I'll step forward on my left foot in a straight line, not in CBMP, straight line. My right side will stay where it is. That is a left side lead, okay? Now, if I go back with my left foot, and this is what the ladies will be doing, for example, on a feather, and of course a three-step they'll do as well, with the other foot. No, same foot, I think. Anyway, we'll get to that in a second. The point is, if I go back with my left foot and my left side, that's the left side lead for the ladies, right? If we go back on the right foot with a right side lead, so you can see the idea being is that one side is literally just being held back from the other. So this is so you don't get confused with the terminology of side lead. The next thing we have is two tracks becoming one. All right, so my right foot, for example, I just want you to pick that foot up and then step on the tightrope between your feet. So think of your body, there's your two tracks of movement, 1, 2, okay? Now take that right foot in one line. There is my tightrope, right? CBMP, contra body movement position. But forget that, just think two tracks become one. Now, if I do that going backwards, my left foot, same thing. So my left foot will sneak into a line behind my right foot, okay? So CBMP is done with both feet depending on the figure, but that's what it means from a definition point of view, okay? So you have to understand this because when we look at creating our feather step and our three step, there's 6 steps that we're going to work on as the man and lady, where I'm going to be using these terms. Now, there's one more term I'm going to add in, and that is called CBM. That's not to be confused with the feet, but I will use the term swing. So we'll swing our body as in turn. So just close your feet for a second. I want you to turn your body like this, but notice my head is not turning, okay? I already saw that. I saw you guys. By the way, shout out to Dave and Stephen. Hello, you fantastic men dancing out there, wanting to make your dancing better. And this is, by the way, Foxtrot is one of those beautiful dances that looks easy because the experts, professionals, we do it so quote unquote effortlessly. However, the hours and years in practice made it get that way, right? It's so tricky though as a dance that I'm just going to tell you now, you never stop developing it, okay? So this swinging idea can be used in a few different contexts, but to be clear, my head does not mean my body, and my body does not mean my head. So when you hear body action, your head is not responding to that, okay? So this is what it would look like. So I know some of you are already turning and oh shit. So I had to have my head held when I first did this because it would turn. So that is what we're going to refer to as swing. Now, or CBM for those who actually study dance and are a teacher of dance, CBM is that first initial turn that we need to move forward in a step in the foxtrot or in any ballroom dance when we're turning. Now, the thing is, after that, we can create a side lead and then we go into CBMP. And overall, we can frame this as step, swing, sway, but we're not focusing on sway. So today we're going to talk about swing, side, and tightrope. I just made that up. It's pretty good. Okay, so this will be for the man and lady. So I'll do it in stages, right? We'll talk about the actual steps first for the man, then the lady, and you can practice it. So I would be a foot. That doesn't make sense. It would be a terrible injustice if I didn't mention the footwork. So footwork's how you use the feet, or basically what part of the foot's in contact with the floor. Please don't get too bored with this, right? Like this is why your footwork probably blows, is because you're not aware that maybe your teacher didn't teach you the footwork. Because I've had students come in here and be like, "What is footwork?" And I was like, "What medal have you done?" "Oh, I'm a gold dancer." I'm like, "Give me my scarf." And I want to scream in it. How don't you know your footwork? And it just showed, by the way. The dancing was atrocious. And so we talked about footwork, and she actually couldn't come back after that because she was just so, one, she was actually really embarrassed, she said. Two, she felt had ripped off, right, in her, where she spent all this money to learn to dance. And three, she actually noticed the difference, which is funny, right? Like within a lesson, oh my God, if I knew that, I would have danced better. So footwork is vitally important. It's not the only thing though, and that's where it can get very technical. So in your journey to become a better foxtrot dancer, take it from the beginning. Let's look at the steps. Okay, so first things first. My feet are going to be together. This is the man steps first. I'm going to go forward on the right foot, and I'm just going to literally do the steps first. So I go right foot first, then I take my left foot forward, then I take my right foot forward. Okay, that's my feather step. Close the feet. I take my left foot forward, I take my right foot forward, and I take my left foot forward again. Close the feet. All right, hi back there. I'm going to dance towards you. Okay, I should zoom in on this in a second. So right foot forward, left foot forward, right foot forward. Close the feet, left foot forward, right foot forward, left foot forward, close the feet. Why are we being so simplistic? Because I have taught this for many years, and I know how retarded and quick this can get very quickly. So if we think about the feet, okay, so we'll talk about the body in a second, we're literally just walking in a line. Not really a line, but you get what I'm saying, the feet are passing, okay? The footwork and the way we use our body in relationship to that footwork is going to change how that looks, okay? So ladies, when you go backwards, okay, you found this frame, feeling pretty good. Go back on your left foot first of all, and you're taking your left foot back. You're taking your right foot back. You're taking your left foot back. Very good. Close the feet, as in you're not going to pause here, but that's the end of the feather. Take the right foot back, take the left foot back, and then take the right foot back, and then just close the feet. All right, so we go again. So ladies, you'll go left foot back, right foot back, left foot back, close the feet, right foot back, left foot back, and then right foot back, close the feet. So with those movements in total, there you go. There is your foxtrot. Well done. Yeah. And we are done. We are done yet by a long shot. If you're liking this lesson, you know what the drill is. This is what we all have to do this. Like the video, okay? Give a little thumbs up. Make sure you join the membership as well if you're liking this, because there's a lot more to this. Now, when we create our first part of this movement, so again, coming back to the men, this is the steps, all right? You take your right foot forward, your body has to turn on that first step. So you create all your turn on that very first step, one, okay? Or slow, I should say. We'll come to that in a second. Now, I take that step forward. At the end of that step, I'm going to take my left side forward and keep my right side back. At the end of that step, I take my right foot in one track. That's the tightrope. Then close your feet. That's how you can start practicing a feather. So I'll dance it towards you, and of course I'll talk about the footwork in a second. So turn the body. Step one, right? The next step, my left side comes through. The third step, my right foot goes on a tightrope. As I lower into the foot, the heel, my feet can come together and pass, ready for the three step, okay? Now, footwork, pay attention, gentlemen. Here's how it goes. So it goes heel, toe, 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 heel. Try saying it with me. This is a very good way to start to put this in your body. Heel, toe, 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 heel. Okay. So we go forward. Heel, toe, 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 heel, bring the feet together. All right, so let's try this together. So heel, toe, 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 heel, feet together. Okay, that is our feather step. Let's look at the gentleman. Okay, we go. Oh, the gentleman. Late night. I am the gentleman. Let's go back, ladies. Okay, first step, your body's turning. You are going to go back, left foot back, right foot with a side lead. And then from there, you take your left foot into one track. That's the feather position that is known for. And then we close. Now I'm going to demonstrate this sideways so you can understand. So we'll do the man step first this way. So you can see the turn on that first step, the side lead on the second step, and the third step's in that one position. I'm still in frame, yay. And then I'm going to close it up. Okay, now I'll be the lady. All right, so back on the left foot. There's my turn. There's my side lead. And there's my one track movement. Okay. So what we think about, and there's a little short I put up just for fun, but basically there's a hinge on a door. And that's how you have to think of the second step in your foxtrot feather step as a man or a lady. So you take your first step together. The second step, that's the door hinge here. The weight goes into that leg so the left side can come through. So if I do that correctly, the feeling is that the body turns through and that side comes into the feather without much of an issue. And then I can sneak outside my partner. One of the common problems I notice in this is that, and I'll demonstrate it poorly, right? And by the way, I can do this because I actually used to do this too. So I would step forward and not turn my body. And then I would try to take the second step outside and like bend my hips, right? So we want to avoid that by creating CBM on one. So there's our swing, right? And now if I get into that leg, I take the side through, I can sneak past my partner. So your problems don't come because of your partner. The problems come from the execution of that technique, knowing exactly when to do it, or you're probably not doing it, right? So it's knowing when to do it and when to move. Now, when we look at the three step, and there's two ways okay, there's not two ways. There's one way to dance it, but there's two technique books that are accepted. One is, I think there's a Guy Howard. I'm almost a different name. So Guy Howard, and then the Imperial Society Teachers of Dance, standard technique book by Alex Moore. That's the one that I have learned from the most, but I've also referenced the other one. The main difference there is which leg you start the three step on, right? Essentially. So in this today, I'm going to be starting the three step on the left foot as the man on slow. Okay. In the ISTD book for any teachers out there, you'll notice that that step begins quick, slow. Okay. And it's not necessarily important to know the difference if you're just a social dancer. It's just when one figure is started in the book. That's all. But that's important if you're teaching to know the difference. Okay. So when we do a three step, gentlemen, we're starting on the left foot, yeah? And again, you're going forward. You have CBM on this first step. So you are turning slow, right? You take your right foot through with the right side lead, okay? The feather has a left side lead. This now has a right side lead. And then step forward on the left foot again, and you look. But I want to stress this to you. If I'll try to dance this with full cam in a minute. But if I dance towards you as the man, so I go left foot first, slow, and then come in here quick. You notice my right side's coming through, and then quick. I don't step in one track at all, ever, in a three step. The feet must continually pass, and for bonus points, this will also curve, right? And we'll get to that in a minute. Okay, so your feather and three step are not a direct straight line, even if they say that in a technique book. They're moving down the line of dance, or diag to wall, or diag to center, but they actually have a curve on them. All right, now how do we create that curve? Well, by becoming a member of my membership, no, by understanding how to create proper CBM and collect our weight in the leg at the right time. And then the body will naturally create a curve. Here's a little fun fact for you all. Why is it called a feather step? I'll let you wait. Anyone? Anyone? Because the founding fathers of dance, okay, may they look down upon you and go, now you know what you're dancing. The feather is like a quill. So it doesn't go in a direct, dead straight line. There is a gentle curve to the actual feather. Okay, and there's a gentle curve to the three step. Okay, so that's the idea. When we do a wave, the reverse wave, same idea. It curves. Now you don't often see that, but it should be that way. That's how it's been created. Now, if we look at the three step for the lady, hold on, did I talk about the footwork for the lady? I did not. Woo! Caught myself. Very good, gentlemen. Pause for a second. Ladies, one for you. When you do a feather step, here is your footwork. Go back on your left foot, and you're going to go toe heel. Your right foot goes back, toe heel. And your left foot goes back, toe heel. That's why I forgot to mention it, because it's freaking easy. Kidding. It's actually very difficult. Do not rise through your feet. So ladies, say the footwork with me. Toe heel, toe heel, toe heel. If you can do a good backward walk, you're going to dance well. Can't promise they'll do you dancing with, but your backward walks, let's get back. I'm just going to have to like tap it manually, I think. I want to show you the footwork with the old. Okay, there, we got it. Foot only. Let's do it. Right. So if I can get my feet, I'll do it feather this way. So to pull the heel, right? Pull the heel, pull the heel. That's the idea of your feather step as a lady. Okay. When you do a three step, to make it easy, you're doing the same thing. Toe heel, toe heel, toe heel. Now, when we look at the idea of rise and fall, this is where you move from beginner to intermediate in my brain, in my head. This is how you have to think about it. If you start trying to make sure you rise properly, your feet do not rise with that. You don't actually go up through your toes. You only go up through your legs and body. And that's why the feather step can be very difficult. That is why the three step is almost more difficult than a feather step, okay? Because the man goes up through his feet and toes. You don't. right? So you gotta you just gotta pull it the whole time, like, woo, and just deal with it. By pulling the feet though through the floor, you create that nice, long, continuous flowing movement, okay? And that's one of the important things to understand about the footwork is, are you actually rising through your feet? The answer is no, but you will through the body, and now that gets you into intermediate territory. So when it comes to understanding what the hell you're dancing and what you're doing, keep it simple. And I know I have a way of talking a lot about technique. So we want to keep it back to basics, which is you get your feet going in the correct position. So forward, for example, side lead, one track. And you learn to collect the weight and transition to the next one. Once that starts to feel good and you can do it to music, you add in extra things like, how are you going to rise up through your legs? Right? What does that feel like? How is your body responding to that? Are you keeping a nice frame or are you sagging? Right? So, but you can't do everything at once. So let's go through one more time the feather step as the man and then the lady. Then I'm going to do the three step as the man and lady and give you some tips on that. Okay? Come with me now. Let's go. So taking hold, this is the man step, right foot forward. So heel, toe, 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 heel. That's your feather step and you straighten up. Now, ladies, let's do your step. We go with the, I'll dance it backwards. Better if I dance backwards, actually, towards you. So, ladies, left foot back. Toe, heel, right side lead, toe, heel, one track. Okay? Now, bring your feet together because that's going to be the transition into the three step there. Okay? Counts will come in a second. Let's look at the actual three steps. So, gentlemen, you start on the left foot. Let's go together. Down the room, feet together. So, forward on the left, keep your two tracks of movement. Left foot forward, and then take that's a heel. The right foot goes forward, heel, toe. You rise up through that foot now with the right side leg, very, very gentle. Then take your left foot forward, toe, heel. Now I have to do this as the lady, then I'll come back to the man. So ladies. Back on the right foot, very good. Got my mind made up. Right foot back, ladies. Right foot back, toe, heel. Take your left side with it, boom. Then take your right side with it. Sorry, your right side, right foot back. Okay, so there's your three step. Go again, ladies. What on fuck's earth am I doing? Bum, 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 bum. So I'm left foot, she's right. There we go. We're good. We're good. We're good. So there, and then da 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 da. All right, pulling the heels the whole time. All right. So with these side lead things, why I think the three step is a little bit more difficult is because when you look at a feather step as the man, so this is tips for man and all, right? When you look at a feather step, my left side is coming through because of doing the first step really well. So I lower into the step, I come onto the right foot, I flex that knee, and as I come out of into a straight leg, my left side comes through so I can pass the lady, yeah? Now, when you do a three step, what we're doing is we're sort of rolling through the foot a lot more. So if I come through on my left foot, heel, the next step there, I'm not like rising up as abruptly as I did in the feather, and I'm making sure that leg swings through on a heel again so I can roll through that toe and then keep going through the floor. It's actually, I think it's a very unique way to use your legs in ballroom dancing. I don't think there's anything that comes close to this. And for me, it was like a very difficult step to get good. I'm still working on it, right? So heel, heel, toe, toe, heel, and then ready to go forward into the feather again. So I'm going to put these two steps together one more time, coming towards you as the man, because it's a bit easier if I dance at you. We'll go feet first now. So right foot first, and heel, toe, 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 heel. Bring the feet together. Now the three step, heel, then heel, toe, toe, heel, and then collect the weight. All right, so we'll do this way now. Go, and so slow, and then quick, quick, then slow, quick. And you can see it moves a lot. So this is a difficult one to do without the camera like zooming in the whole time, but you get the idea. When we look at the lady steps now, we put the two together. So she's going to be from here. Right? Which foot leg do you start with, ladies? The left. We're not talking. We haven't done any preparation steps, in case anyone's wondering. So they're not there on for a reason. Okay, let's go into the first step of the feather. So, ladies, you go slow, quick, quick. Bring the feet together. Then three steps, slow, quick, quick, and then bring the feet together. Okay, back and slow, quick, quick, slow, quick, quick. Woo! Risky business when you're doing that. Shot. Where am I going? Okay, so what do you think? What are your questions? By the way, I forgot to mention a cool fact about the Foxtrot, right? So this was first debuted by a American vaudeville artist named Harry Fox and his partner, and it was known as Harry's Trot for a while. In 1938, it got its official name. I'm pretty sure the tempo was tempo speed. It was much faster, somewhere closer to quickstep, I think, and they slowed it down to what it is today in terms of its speed. Okay. Now I believe the waltz and foxtrot are the same tempo, right? But we've got 4 beats to a bar in foxtrot, so we have like that extra beat to use and play with. And our timing is what we're about to get into. So what? Chapter 2, counts. Keep it nice and simple. A rhythm count in a foxtrot is a slow, quick, quick. So 2 beats for a slow, 1 beat for a quick. You guessed it. Slow, quick, quick, slow, and a quick, quick. Let's put some music on. Excellent. A little bit above elevator music. I feel a bit of an outdoor pool in a rundown resort. That music was pretty good. So, slow, quick, quick. There is a lot in this particular count that gets very advanced very quickly. So again, at the beginner level, what are you focusing on? You're focusing on your steps and where they're going. So of course you're always doing this with good posture, but you're thinking right foot, left foot, right foot. Bring the feet together. Left foot, right foot, left foot. Okay, that's it. Now, then you add on to that, like I said before, the use of the body. Right foot, but with some turn. Left foot with a left side lead. Then step through on the right foot, but now in one track. And voila, look at my body. Amazing. Okay, now at the end of that, feet together. Now for the 3-step, what am I doing? I'm going left foot forward with the swing. I'm going right foot forward with the side lead. And then I'm taking my left foot straight forward, not in one track. And then I click my feet and I go pat on the back. Put someone in front of you, completely fucking dancing, right? Welcome to dance. Okay, nail it on your own world champion. Put someone in front of you, like, oh my god, yeah, this is how it works. And why? Because a lot of the time you don't know how to turn your body. All right, you don't know how to use your body weight without collapsing. Okay, your arms are like worse than Quasimodo's. Yeah, your posture in your arms are just like crap. So we have to make sure this upper body is always in its best possible form. It's very important. You have to be a world champion dancer with your arms. You just need to hold them the goddamn up, both the man and lady. It's very. I've got to stress that. So many people drop when they dance. So the thing is, holding them up allows your body to have a space to dance in, and you can at least have a chance. All right. With the counts, adding them to the steps matters because when you count a slow, oh, Dave in Idaho, how many beats of music are we using? What's that you say across the Atlantic or whatever ocean is between us? 2 beats. All right. So this is how we start to control our movement. So if I'm doing my feather, that's going to be slow. Now, beat 1 of that is my step. Okay. And then beat 2 of that is where I finish the step. That's all the slow. The quick, quick part of that. So there's my slow, quick, quick 1 beat each, one beat. And so even, I don't want to get too, it gets real technical real quick. Even though I'm counting quicks for 1 beat of music, they're also going to be danced slowly. So this is part of I remember Penny used to say to me, Vaughan, the thing about foxtrot confuses people is the word slow. Pronounce the word slow. And I'm like, slow. And she goes, okay, now pronounce the word quick. I was like, quick, quick, right? And she goes, listen to it. The quick, it actually sounds quick, doesn't it? Like it sounds faster to pronounce than a slow. So unfortunately, foxtrot, we're trying to make our quicks slow, and our slows are going to be faster than the word slow. And I'm like, holy shit, I had no idea what? Because I can't, like, it's great in theory, but I couldn't control anything I was doing. I was like, my dancing, nah. Like, I get that in theory, but nah, I can't do that. So it makes sense in theory, though, right? So I'm going, 1, 2, 3. Okay, my feather 3-step needs to be chilling out. So slow, then quick, quick, slow, quick, quick. There's 1 KB to this. This is where you get confused, right? Real quick. On the 3-step, I remember Anthony Hurley saying this to me, and I said, first of all, can you dance foxtrot too slowly? I love such a British answer. He's like, oh, you're joking. So, okay, that's a very indirect answer. Very good. So clearly not, as long as you're not on time, right? And then the second one was on the 3-step. He's like, you need to speed up on the 3-step. That actually helped me a lot. So again, this is where the technique starts going to be confusing, but essentially the quick part of it. So let's say I start, this is the man's thing, I start on the left foot, that's slow. When I come through on the right foot with my side lead, he said that quick there, that needs to be a little faster. And then you slow down at the end of that hook into the natural turn or whatever. It's like, oh my God, it helps so much. Now, the thing is, you have to be ready to do it. So you're talking 18 years of training before that really made sense for me. But I'm a little slow on the uptake, right? But that bit of knowledge helped me a lot. That may not do shit for you if you're a beginner. In fact, it probably won't, because you're going to be like fumbling around with your feet. And that's good. Welcome to dance, right? So we want to make sure that we are understanding, more importantly than worrying about what's necessarily faster or slower, is actually getting your heels and toes to work, getting your weight correct, and then being able to close and not fall over and look like a numpty, right? This is number one rule today. Don't look like a numpty and fall on your face when you dance, okay? No wobbles allowed. That'd be a weird t-shirt, but it makes sense to me. So let's look at this from the ladies' perspective, okay? So, because everything I mentioned so far is gearing towards the level of the man, because he has to lead this. But when you practice this, ladies, you also have to understand the slow, quick rhythm for you. So when you're going back, like Ginger Rogers in the high heels, right, beautifully elegant backwards, it is more tricky. So you still need to hit your weight forward. Welcome to the paradox of dance too, I would imagine, because the idea being you think, well, Vaughan, I'm going backwards, so should I just not move backwards? Like, no. You must make sure that your weight remains forward, even if you're going backwards. Okay? Sort of, what's it called? Principle. So even if the man's moving backwards, so if I'm the man moving backwards in a wave, I still want to feel my weight sort of going forward, even though I'm moving backwards myself. This allows us to stay together and have more control. So as a lady, when you're moving into your feather step, okay, so from here, you turn your body, focus on pulling your heels and your timing, work on driving around actually tomorrow and counting slow foxtrot music. Use this lesson if you have to. Come back to the music I'm about to play and count slow, quick, quick, slow, quick, quick. When you dance, add it to the counts. So let's put it together. So it's the 1 foot. So count together. That is not the foot at all. That's the foot. All right. We've got slow, quick, quick, slow, go, slow, quick, quick, slow, quick, slow. Back to the beginning. Okay. So here's your music. Felt I nailed that. I can barely hear the beats down there. So I want you to practice that now. And as a sort of good idea to do this, when you walk into the studio, find a little laneway and just dance these in a series of movements up and backwards. Bonus points, gentlemen, if you can understand how to do it backwards, a back feather, and then the steps, what, 4, 5, and 6 of a reverse wave. So then that becomes the literally the extended reverse wave. So you can go forward and backward, practicing how to move, beautifully through foxtrot. Now, however old you are, divided by 2 and times it by 10. It's going to take that long to make it feel amazing. That sounds so unmotivational. But just one of the problems with dancing is that it's an art. Why is that a problem? Because we're all conditioned to have results, right? School, university, etc. And outcome oriented, aren't they? Even medals. So there's nothing wrong with medal systems. I use them, but just keep in mind when it comes to dancing and art forms, it's progressive, and sometimes you're going to be like non-progressive, right? You're going to go backwards. So it is important that as you develop your skills and you start to implement a new idea. So you, hey Vaughan, today I didn't know about that thing you just mentioned. I'm going to go try that, and now I feel a bit worse. Well, you know my answer. It's welcome to dance, right? Why does it feel worse? Because you are challenging your body to try new technique. And that's where your ceiling becomes your new floor if you persevere. Now, you might say, well, that's an outcome. It's like, yes, you made your skill set a little better now and you can move a bit better, but you won't arrive. And that's the difference. So, like when you say hit a financial goal, like paying off your house or paying off a car or a loan, you know that's happened and it's done now. With foxtrot and movement, you can definitely get to a place where it feels effortless and easy, but does it remain? Well, if you don't practice for 2 years, probably not. Right? So it's this very fleeting thing in a way, but once your body starts to adapt to the technique, you will find things easier to do. Now, how long does that take? Well, that's where the problem with outcome orientation is, because you don't know. What you can start to measure, if it helps you, is like incremental progress. It's like, I was wobbling on my feet on a feather. I couldn't stay there. Now I can. That's progress. No one's going to applaud you. You should applaud yourself. You won't get a trophy for it, but you'll be like, yay, I have more balance. And then, well done, you've now progressed. And so because of that, you can move forward in your dancing. And unfortunately, there's no endpoint with that because it's continuously developing all the time. And that's the beautiful thing about dance. So I would encourage you not to worry about your outcome necessarily and to focus a lot more on developing beautiful movement, right? And so to use that in an abstract way, in a way, just to actually enjoy the process. Oh, shit. I'm going to get banned on YouTube. I can feel it. I'm going to get banned if I say to you, actually enjoy the process of improving. You can't say those things, I must be dead serious. I must be serious Latin dance teacher and serious ballroom teacher and frown a fucking lot at my student and be like, that was a terrible fucking job. No, no. You should enjoy the process, right? You should enjoy the process of learning and developing your dancing. Okay, it's an art. It's beautiful, even if sometimes you don't dance beautifully, right? And then you want to make it better. Totally cool. So I want to thank you for being here. Let me know if you have any questions in the chat window, and if there's anything I can help you with, visit Ballroom Mastery membership. Love to have you on board. And thank you for those who are tuning in live. We've come to the end of our show today.